here to share my impressions of my very first Benchmade. Happens to be a Bugout. That new FDE and the blue color. It's it's actually very neat looking. I find it very appealing tones, and it's very lightweight. It's actually I've never owned one. I probably had held one, not even this one. I think it was the shootout. Uh, the one thing that I noticed, because it feels very lightweight, but not fragile. I mean, I've been squeezing it, and well, it looks like the design has some plates in the inside that makes it sturdy. Not as sturdy as I thought it was gonna be, but it is an appealing. The colors are nice. So what I end up when I got it, I opened it up and cleaned it, removed some of the factory oil or whatever, and I cleaned it up and I Loctite it back on the correct tension. So that I did. That wasn't too hard. The one other thing that I noticed, these scales, they look like they have a grip, but only sideways, and like front, back, and forward. It's not. There's not enough grip here. Well, it's definitely a better grip than in the flat sides, but only sideways, not in this angle. Hides pretty damn well in your pocket. Love the colors again. I think that probably is the most appealing thing for me, was that color. So right now, what I did encounter is that Benchmade really sharpens. They really sharpen their knives. That thing, I'll show you in a second. So what I end up, this took some getting used to. As you can see, it's hanging freely. But the only way you can do that is by holding both of them. At least this one, if I hold just one side, it just doesn't, you might be putting pressure inside and it doesn't, glide like when you're doing it with, deploying with both fingers. See, that's sort of like a learning curve there. Also, when I was telling you about how sharp this thing comes by factory, I encountered that because of this thing, in the very last moment of the blade, it basically pulls it back in. So, it kind of drags it in. I'm sure it has to do something, to keeping it sturdy and close. But while I'm getting used to it, I ended up cutting myself several times. And, it was nothing too dramatic, but, I got to draw some blood on that thing. So you need to disinfect your wounds, right? Anyway, so I got used to it, so now I know where to let go and when to press to retract. See how it picks it back up? Yeah. Anyway, that took some used to. Other than that, I mean, I love the colors. And the blue color looks very plasticky. It's sturdy, but yeah, I don't know. I guess that's it looks better in the pictures and under the sun than under this light. That's for sure. This light doesn't really complement it at all. But in the daylight, it's a different monster, right? So anyway, compared to my Spyderco, this is my second Spyderco, and the design of the Spyderco looks very odd. It's a very weird looking knife, but it's very functional. I like the way the blade disappears on the actual frame compared to this. You got that little gap, and I just don't love it. I don't know, that's just the way they design it, but I love this design because of that. It looks like a unique piece, right? All the thing that Spyderco that got on their favor, is the scales. This thing is grippy. I mean, if you were to put some pressure on this thing, it won't slide. It's just the way they design it, and it has the angle in the right place in order for you not to slip. So even though it's plastic, It's also pretty damn sturdy. Not not as sturdy as the Benchmade, but it's almost not noticeable. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's not seems to be flexing that much now. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Anyway, you cannot get the same cuts that I got here with that Bugout, not with this one. And I think it has to do with the way that you actually press to retract. It doesn't allow you to, you need to actually push it forward in order to get this, and then you got like a better, I got a better control, I think. It gets some used to it, I think. Yeah, I think it's a better placed retraction button instead of just, losing your grip. It feels kind of odd the way that you retract here. Anyways, some used to it, I guess. The other thing that Spyderco has, yeah, you got a more ergonomic, and your finger, kind of like this point here where you got right behind the blade, you got very good traction. Your finger ain't going nowhere. So you got traction points here, design of the blade, and back here. I don't know how they're called. I just think it's a better, more grippier, more secure design if you were to try to do some real cuttings. This one might slip on you, especially if you got gloves. I'm thinking this is a better option than this. This is more urban, and this is more urbanish slide, all type of scenarios. Anyway, so the blades are shorter in the Spyderco. You got more cutting point, I believe, on this Benchmade. We'll see how this Cerakote FD will hold. I don't really use knives in a very harsh conditions or harsh ways. It's mostly, very light use. Yeah, that's it. I think this is my very first Benchmade. I really like the color, and I'm looking forward to see it on the bailout. I love that bailout design of the blade. A more tactical approach with the same color scheme. I'm guessing the scales are gonna remain to be what they are, but the grip and the blade on that bailout, it's definitely something that I'm looking for. Anyway, I just wanted to share my impressions and my very first Benchmade, and I hope this helps anybody out there. Peace.